Good morning, Arielle, and thank you for being here in Sube la Vibra.
Oh, happy to be with you.
I am very happy. Arielle, can you tell us why are you considered an expert in love and relationship?
Well, I am on a mission to help people find love, keep love, and be love. And it's actually a very long story how I got to be doing this, because I never woke up one morning and said, oh, I should be a love expert. That was not what was going on in my life. I spent most of my life working in the publishing industry. For many years, I was a book publicist, and I had a lot of amazing clients. I worked with Deepak Chopra for 12 years, and Marianne Williamson, and Neil Donald Walsh, and Wayne Dyer, and Louise Hay, and Don Miguel Ruiz from the Four Agreements, and lots of folks like that. And I was also a literary agent. But 21 years ago, I woke up really early one morning, and I had this crazy thought, which was basically, oh my God, I forgot to get married. And I started thinking about, how did that happen? And I realized it was because I put all my time and attention on building my business. So when I looked at how I built this very successful company, I realized I had used all kinds of manifesting techniques based on the law of attraction. And I decided to apply that to my love life to see if it would work, because I really had no idea if it would. And sure enough, it worked really brilliantly, and I manifested the most amazing soulmate, and we're celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary next month.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we'll be going to Santorini and Venice to have a good time. But what happened after I got married was two things. One, every single woman that I came in touch with started asking me, how do I get a Brian? They were just all so amazed. So I started sharing my process, and the demand became very huge because it didn't just work for me. It worked for everybody who tried it. And I ended up writing a book called The Soulmate Secret, which became an international bestseller, and it's in 21 languages in over 40 countries. The other thing that happened was soon after I got married, I made a discovery that was really depressing. And that was, I found out that I had no partnership skills. I was really good at being the boss, but I really had no idea how to be a good partner. So that sort of put me on the path of becoming a student of love. So over the years, I've interviewed more than 200 of the world's greatest love and relationship experts and marriage researchers, and then decided to try out their recommendations. And they all worked. Well, not all of them, but there were a lot that worked really well. And I learned a lot about how to make a really great marriage. And that turned into another book called Turn Your Mate into Your Soulmate. And so more than a decade ago, I decided to leave the publishing world and just dedicate myself to teaching people how to find love and keep love. And that's how I got to be with you today.
That is wonderful. And in your opinion, what is love?
Well, that's a great question, by the way. So most people think love is a feeling. Oh, Elizabeth, I know that I love you because I feel it, and the truth is, when you're in that state of being in love, it's really just a drug high. What's happening inside your brain is that you are experiencing all kinds of chemicals and hormones like adrenaline and oxytocin and dopamine and things that make you feel really good. But that is not what love is. In fact, that's a state that I like to call the socially acceptable form of insanity. So while there are some feelings to real love, the truth is real, mature, adult love is first and foremost a behavior. It's a choice, it's a practice, it's a decision, it's a way of being, it's an action. Because as anybody who has fallen in love and gotten married soon finds out, there are days when you actually hate your soulmate. but it doesn't mean that you don't love them. So we have to really understand that when we're in search of our soulmate, it's much more than some feel-good feelings. It's really about looking for a life partner that is appropriate for us. And, you know, how do you know if they are? Well, yes, you need to have some chemistry. You need some of that heat there. But that's kind of the least important part of it. You need someone that you have connection, compatibility, communication, and really, most importantly, a shared vision for the future. So that's sort of step one of what is love.
That is interesting, but sometimes we confuse the love. Sometimes we accept the person because of the age. I think there is something more that we should do, because it could be, I don't know, is the lack of love inside of us. This could be a problem, that if we don't love ourselves.
No, that, you know, that's a big story that's out there right now, and it's really bullshit. Okay. Just to make it very plain. So there's this whole story out there that I can't go out and have the love of my life until I'm madly in love with myself. And the truth is, I've never met anybody who's madly in love with themselves 24/7. As human beings, we have lots of self-doubt and we have negative thoughts about who we are. And as long as you're not living in a state of complete and total self-loathing and self-hate, you're just a normal human being. And yet women have been taught to believe, well, you don't deserve love until you love you. So they keep putting off love, thinking that, well, when I'm this and when I'm that, then I'll be deserving and worthy of love. Mm-hmm. And it's nonsense. The truth is, who you are right now is enough. Okay? Who you are right now is enough. And the other truth is that most people never bother to consider is that when you're with your soulmate life partner, you do start to fall in love with yourself, because when you look into their eyes and you see the reflection of how much they love you, it is the most healing thing in the world. And that is actually the true purpose of marriage, to be healed on the deepest level. I mean, you know, you've studied with Neil Donald Walsh. Certainly you know his story. So here's the man who wrote Conversations with God, one of the true spiritual leaders of our time, thought leader, has sold millions of books. But what most people don't know is that he has been married 7 times and has 9 children. Okay, so he didn't get it right the first 6 times. However, he's still friendly with all of his ex-wives, you know, and thank God he found M, you know, because they're just perfect together now. But he was, I think, in his late 60s when they married, something like that. So, you know, I really want to encourage people to stop listening to all the reasons why they can't have love, particularly women. I don't see this problem so much with men, but women have this whole litany of why they can't have love. I'm too old is the most popular one. I'm too fat. I'm too damaged. All the good ones are taken. I've tried online dating. It doesn't work for me. You know, they make up all these excuses, and then they sit at home on the couch watching reality TV where nobody's ever going to see them, and they're going to die alone. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Okay, and then how to recognize the soulmate?
Well, first you have to become visible, because not only are you desiring to have a soulmate, there are many people out there that would love to be with you. So you have to quit hiding. All right. And in my book, The Soulmate Secret, I give you the step-by-step plan. If you don't like to read, I have a course that gives you the step-by-step plan, and that's at SOULMATEPassion44.com, SOULMATEPassion44.com. But to sort of simplify it is, there are multiple steps to it. So first you have to make the decision. Yes, I am going to make finding my soulmate life partner my #1 priority. Okay, because that's what it's going to take. Like, imagine, Elizabeth, that you were a single mom with 3 or 4 kids and you got fired from your job. Now, there are two things you could do. You could sit at home on the couch, just like, well, if it's meant to be for me to have a job and feed my kids, then a job will find me, which of course you would never in a million years do, ever. Or you would know what to do. You would update your resume, you'd go online, you'd network, you'd do interviews, and you would be relentless, right, until you found the job. But so many single women are just approaching love as if, well, if it's meant to be. And you know what? That's not how it works. Okay, so you have to make it your number one priority, as if your life depends upon it. And if this isn't the right time, you know, if you're just way too busy with too many other things, then give yourself a break. Do it at another time, because it takes work. It takes time. It takes commitment. The other thing that I see a lot of busy women do, saying, oh, well, when I have a date, then I'll make time for a relationship.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way. If you're serious about making love your priority, you need to get your calendar out today and start blocking out time every day when you're going to be taking action to have dates and go on dates. Okay, because otherwise it's never going to happen. You want to have true clarity about what your soul is most calling for in a mate. You know, a lot of people make these wish lists like it's a grocery list. Oh, he needs to be 6'2", dark curly hair, green eyes, weigh 190 pounds, have a size 10 shoe, you know, and dress like he stepped out of GQ and make $500,000 a year. Now, God could send you that person, and you have no idea if you're going to be happy with them. So what you want to ask yourself on the deepest level are, what are the heart traits and qualities I most need? You know, do I need someone who's kind and compassionate and loving and financially responsible, who will love my kids the way I love them, who's family oriented and, you know, wants to take all vacations near a warm ocean, you know? Now that's a list worth working on. And at the same time, these would be what I call your must-haves. You also need to know your deal breakers. You know, like one of my deal breakers when I was doing this process was I needed to be with a man who had a great relationship with his mother, because I noticed in my past that the men who were lousy at relationships didn't have good relationships with their mother. English needed to be his first language, because I grew up in South Florida where the official language is Spanglish, right? And I'm no good with languages. And the truth is, even if you're 100% fluent in English, words have different meanings. And words are my entire life. I am a writer. So I need to be able to talk to somebody so that we're always on the same page. Now, it's not to mean I don't have friends who live in foreign countries, and you know, with my friends, it's fine. But I needed my husband to have English as a first language. And what's really funny, this is the God playing tricks on you. I got a guy who was born in Portland, Oregon, who has English as a first language, but he likes to make up words. It drives me crazy. You know, and then I also wanted somebody who was really generous. Now, I didn't mean generous with his wallet. Like I said, I had a very successful business. I was making lots of money on my own. I wanted somebody who was generous with their love, attention, affection, appreciation, with their time. Because I saw that what my soul was most calling for was I wanted to be the center of somebody's universe. You know, and while that was hard to admit initially, I realized that was sort of a deal breaker for me. I needed somebody who was just going to be so devoted to me that I, you know, sometimes wanted to run away because it was too much attention. So those are sort of the basic steps.
And I read that we have more than one soulmate.
Yes. So there's this myth out there that we each only get one big love in a lifetime, and it's just not true. I know several women who are now with their third soulmate. You know, so just because you divorce somebody doesn't mean that they were not a soulmate. It just means that that relationship had an expiration date. So for me, a soulmate is really quite simple. It's somebody that you can completely be yourself with, somebody with whom you share unconditional love, and when you look into their eyes, you have the experience of being home. So that would actually fit lots of people, your parents, your siblings, your kids, your best friend, your cats, your dogs. So the truth is we all have many soulmates all the time. But when it comes to having a romantic soulmate, the really good news is that right here on planet Earth, right now there are 7.4 billion people. It's a lot of people. Half of them are single. Okay, so there's no shortage of potential partners out there. The problem is, especially for women, is that they have this crazy idea, oh, well, within 20 seconds of meeting him, I'll just know he's the one. Now, research shows this is not true at all. And in fact, I've done my own surveys on happily married soulmate couples, and the majority of women in those relationships didn't even feel attracted to the man they married until the 5th date. And there's a really good reason for this, is because women fall in love between their ears. They really actually need to get to know somebody. And if they're feeling a lot of hot and heavy attraction initially, that has nothing to do with love. That's just chemistry, all right? And it doesn't last. On the other side of it, men sometimes know instantly, you know, because they're very visual creatures, you know. So I've talked to a lot of men who just said, oh yeah, I just knew. She didn't know, but I knew. Right? So, you know, you have to give these things time to develop and not be in such a big rush, because it's very important that you really take your time. This is the biggest decision you're ever going to make in your life, who you're going to spend your life with. So there's no need to rush it. And all this craziness, oh, well, I'm too old, and you know, it's not true. I've had the soulmate secret work for women in their 80s.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. How can we have a good relationship?
Number one, choose wisely. That's the first thing you want to do. You know, so you want to make sure that, you know, there aren't some red flags in the beginning. You know, do they mostly tell the truth? Do they have good relationships with friends and family? Are they trustworthy? You know, if they say they're going to do something, do they do it? You know, are they financially responsible? Do they want the same things in life that you want? I mean, you don't have to be 100% on the page about everything, but, you know, if you know you want to live by the ocean and you have somebody who once got scared of drowning and hates the water and wants to be in the mountains, there's no creative solution for that, okay? You know, so you have to figure these things out in advance. And then once you're with somebody, you have to understand that they're not perfect and you're not perfect. And if you're constantly judging them, no one's ever going to be happy. So you have to learn to embrace what I call wabi-sabi love. And wabi-sabi is an ancient Japanese aesthetic that seeks to find beauty and perfection in imperfection. You know, the other thing you need to know is that it's normal, totally normal for people to have lots of differences. So usually what you'll find in a relationship is one person's a spender, one's a saver. One's always on time, the other one's always late. One likes it hot, one likes it cold. You know, these are kind of normal things. One person's very laid back and chill. The other one's very quick to anger and has a temper. And yet we want to fix them. We want to change them. And they don't need to change. You just need to learn to love and respect them for who they are. Now, the only time this isn't true is if there's really bad behavior or abuse or addiction. If those things are present, you need to get professional help. You can't fix those things on your own. But for the most part, if you learn to love and respect each other, treat each other with kindness, be accepting of the weird stuff that you don't like, because it's going to be there, right? There's just no avoiding it. You can have a long, happy marriage.
That is wonderful. You say something about that we have to wear rose glasses.
Yes, rose-colored glasses. I'll show you mine. I keep them right here on my desk.
This is why I wear this today.
Yes, these are my rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, that's cool.
And there was a scientific study done at the University of Buffalo where they actually studied the couples who consciously choose to wear rose-colored glasses. They constantly choose to see the good. And what they discovered was that these couples had longer, happier, more satisfying marriages. And the reason for this is because they're always looking for what's right instead of looking for what's wrong. Wow. And that's a problem a lot of women have. They're always looking to fix something. So if you put your attention on, this is a practice I really recommend, is that every day keep observing your spouse and making note of all the good things that they're doing. And then sometime during the day, acknowledge them for it. You know, it could be as simple as, you know, honey, I'm so proud to be your wife. You know, I was watching you help little Johnny with his math homework last night, and I was just so thrilled that you're such a good dad. And I love it that you care enough to ask me, you know, how my mom's doing, and that you sometimes drive her to the doctors. And it's so sweet of you to look in on, you know, Mrs. Olson next door now that she's so old and frail. And you know, it's just amazing what a good person you are. If you took the time to be observant and share those observations every day, you're going to have an amazing life.
This is wonderful, because this is the opposite that we receive on the media. Normally, most of the program, the women are complaining again.
Nagging, bitching, moaning, carrying on. And you know what? It doesn't work, because men tune you out. You know, and they're so easy. I actually put scripts in my book, Turn Your Mate into Your Soulmate, on how to talk to a man to get anything you want out of him, because they're super, super simple. But you have to know how to talk to them, the tone of voice to use, when to talk to them, and most importantly, stick to one subject at a time. Because unlike women, you know, you could ask me 3 or 4 questions all at once, and I'd be fine with it. If you're going to ask a man a question, or if you want to have a conversation, pick one topic per encounter, and that's it. Because otherwise, they just completely tune you out.
Yeah, that is true. That is so good.
Well, it's because your brains are wired differently. It's not that they're not smart. They are. It's just they operate on a different system than we do. But we try to talk to them like we would want someone to talk to us, and that doesn't work.
Right now you have an online course.
The current program is called The Love Codes, and it's a 12-week online course only for women on how to meet and marry the perfect partner. And that's the one you can get. It starts off with a free 75-minute call, and you can go to soulmatepassion44.com to sign up for that.
That sounds very good.
Yeah, it's amazing. In fact, I was telling my husband this morning, I've gotten so many wedding invitations this week from the women who took the course when we first offered it 18 months ago. It's just been amazing, because first we teach you how to remove the emotional blocks that you have to love, the unconscious stories and resistance that you have. And then we teach you how to understand men. We teach you how to date. We give you all the law of attraction manifestation tools. So it's a very in-depth 12-week program that truly works, because it's a combination of all the stuff that you don't know to get you where you want to go.
And do you go to every wedding that they invite you?
No, I don't. I can't. But I'm going to a lot more than I used to. And I actually got ordained as a wedding minister. And I've done 3 weddings since the beginning of the year.
This is why you are considered the fairy godmother of love?
Yes. It's so much fun. I love weddings.
That is so nice. And we have already our 15 minutes, more than our 15 minutes, and it has been a pleasure to be with you. Can you tell us where to find you?
Sure. My main website is soulmatesecret.com, soulmatesecret.com, and there's lots of free goodies there. There's actually a tab at the top called Free Stuff. So just go on over there, or you can find me at Facebook at facebook.com/soulmatesecret.
That is great. Thank you so much, Arielle. Thank you so much for being here in Sube La Vibra. And we will find out how many people connect with your recommendation.
Thank you.